Hello YouTube, you're looking at 2008 Honda CBR125, and today we're looking at changing the engine oil and the oil filter, or the oil strainer as they call it in the factory service manual. If you've been following along, you know that this particular bike, I'm doing a bit of a deep maintenance cycle on it. Just picked it up within the last week for my wife to learn how to ride, and I just don't trust anything that the previous owner said he had done, so I'm going through a few things, and that's why it's in this open state right now. So changing the oil, reason why I said changing the oil and filter is because changing the oil is dirt easy. Really all you have to do here, I'm on the right side of the bike and I'm looking underneath. There's a drain plug right here. Open it into your drain pan, boom, the oil is drained, and then you can fill it up again right here. And it's a 10W30 is the spec, and it takes 1 liter. But I'm also going to be changing the filter, and so that means taking off this right-hand valve cover, right-hand crankcase cover, and they recommend changing the filter, or cleaning the filter, I guess is what I'm doing, every 12,000 kilometers, and this is at 16,000, and I don't think it's ever been done, so that's what I'm doing here today. Tools you'll need for this job, pretty simple. I showed you my drip pan before to catch the oil, and then yeah, it's going to be, I believe is at 10. Let's take a look here. No, it's a 12. Okay, so a 12 millimeter socket and wrench for the oil drain bolt. You need a 10 millimeter socket, deep socket, that one, for the right hand side crankcase cover. Set of screwdrivers, maybe a rubber mallet if that crankcase cover is stubborn coming off, and then a set of needlenose pliers to pull out the filter. Step one is going to be draining the oil. This is always easier if the bike's been out running and the oil's a bit warm, but in my case it's taken apart and it hasn't been running for a while, but no matter, it's going to work anyway. We want to take this dipstick slash filler plug and just crack it loose there so we can loosen up the airlock, so when we drain the oil, they can drain a little bit easier. With your 12 millimeter socket, going to go underneath to the drain bolt. There we go. I don't want to lose this when it comes out, just going to keep it in my hands. And there we go. There's the oil. It looks clean, so it does look a little milky though. Fairly clean. It's not black. A little on the milky side, so I'm happy I'm changing it anyway. I don't know what he put in there. When you take this out, just remember there's a washer as well, so if you didn't catch the washer and you dropped it in your pan, make sure you take that for later use. Clean this off and store it somewhere for the time being. I'm just going to let that oil drain. While the oil continues to drain, I'm going to start going ahead and taking off this right side crankcase cover. So the first step is undoing the hoses. So we got to undo these clamps first. I'm going to use just a normal Phillips screwdriver. Loosen off the clamp. And there we go, nice and loose. And this one just requires our pliers. Should have mentioned on this before, this job, probably want to know this, this job requires that you drain your coolant because we're taking apart water hoses and taking off this crankcase cover. So you can see well, you can't see it here, but my rad is not on this bike right now. The coolant's already been drained, so I don't have any issue with this, but if you're just doing this without doing any other work, you might want to drain your coolant first. Perfect. I think that's all the oil we're going to get out of here for now. I'm just going to make it a bit more even, zero angle on the lean so that it gets all that last few drops out. And then I've got my oil plug and washer, and that's going to go right back where we took it from. That's in there, just finger tight, finger loose probably, and I'm going to use this rag to wipe off some of the oil that dripped down on the bottom of the pan, and also to wipe off a bit of the exhaust. Yeah, there's no way I'm going to get it all, but it's nice just to get a little bit off. Okay, that's clean enough for now. I'm going to tighten this up right now so I don't forget later on. While I'm at it, I'm just going to put this cap back on because I don't want to forget later. Okay, so clutch lever. I'm going to pull it up manually. And there we go, disconnected the clutch cable. Now I'll be undoing these bolts. There's 10 bolts. You don't have to undo these two. These are just, I guess, for the pump. So I'm using a deep socket with an extension. And you want to undo them in a crisscross pattern, which is what the factory service manual recommends. And the reason you do that is so you don't put pressure on one side only and start warping any of the metal. Alright, so everything's undone. Now it's just a matter of taking the bolts out. The bolts are different lengths, so make sure that you keep the pattern and don't forget which one goes where. This guy can just hang out here, just a clamp, not a big deal. That is all of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Perfect. Now there are two little kind of dowel pegs in here as well, and they're inserted. So you can't just slam it sideways and hope it gets off. But if it doesn't pull off nicely on its own, which it's not, you can use your rubber mallet just to try to convince it, make it a little bit more less stubborn, but don't hit too hard because, like I said, you might have some problems with those pegs. Once you feel that gasket start to come loose, you want to be pulling it out this way. Don't twist it, don't hit it left or right. Just straight out, and that'll help save those dowels. Alright, so those dowels, there's one right here. The screw goes inside, and there's one, where is it? I guess it's right here. And despite my best efforts, I did bend this one a little bit. I did exactly what I said not to do, so take heed, don't do that. Of course, more oil might drain at the bottom, that's perfectly fine. I'm going to set this aside on my workbench, and I'll just give it a quick clean down later. Alright, so now's when we see if all this work actually was worth it. Here is our filter. I'm just grabbing it with my pliers and pulling it out. It is wedge shaped. I don't know if you can see that. Wedged, so there's a high side and a low side. The low side goes in first, the high side is on the outer part. And to be honest, it doesn't look too bad. Actually, I'm glad I did this. Let's see if you can get a little look here. Yeah, it's not focusing very well, but all that gunk is, dirt, little shards, whatnot. Things that, this guy's been doing his job. Yeah, someone's starting up a diesel engine behind me. I think they're leaving soon, though. So this guy's been doing his job. I'm going to clean it out now with some compressed air. You can use anything kind of mineral based as well. Don't use any detergents or anything like that. I'm just going to blow it out with compressed air. So I'll be back in 1 second when that's done. All right, cleaned out, good to go. Looks a lot nicer. Remember, when you're putting it back in, that the wedge, the small side goes in first. Perfect. So this guy's doing exactly what it's supposed to do, which is filter and strain my oil. Again, these bikes don't have an oil filter. They just rely on regular oil changes to get them through. So we're all done. This would also be a good time if you have anything else to do. I know I've been thinking about changing the springs on here. I know there's some stiffer springs for a kind of a performance pack. I might do that again in the future, but this was so easy that I'm not worried about opening it up again. Just keep in mind these two dowels and try to make sure I don't screw those up. So I'm going to give this a quick clean. Factory service manual says use a new gasket. I'm not going to for this one. My gasket looked pretty good. I'll just put some oil on it and install it back again.